funny thing about Trump and the Trump administration is I'm not a big fan of Trump as a human being. Like, I think I really don't like the bullying and I don't like the rough talk and all this stuff. But I do understand that he did something important. He actually stopped the rolling tide of leftism that was engulfing the country and was really threatening to engulf the country, and that it's still there. That rolling tide is still there. People who think that the Jews are the problem in the Middle East are still running our newspapers. People who think that the cops are the problem in black neighborhoods are still there. And the fact that Trump has put the brakes on them is important. It's important. And he's done good things. I mean, I think his foreign policy is better in the Supreme Court pick, obviously. I was reading in the Daily Wire, a lovely place where you should really subscribe to, because, if you subscribe for a year, you get the leftist tears mug. So is worth doing. But I was reading in the Daily Wire that Trump has eliminated 16 federal regulations for each new one he's put in place. So, I think that this vision of the left is actually beginning to crack a little bit. I saw Chuck Schumer on TV, and for the first time, Schumer was starting to talk about how losing the election was their fault. I mean, he was really blaming Hillary Clinton, but he was talking, here he is explaining what has gone wrong with the Democrat Party.
Ready, comrades?
Yes, Comrade Borov.
It's real cool.
We got the red blues. We got the red blues. We got the red blues. We got the red blues.
Now, that's an obscure joke you'll never hear anywhere else. You've got the red blues. No, but here is Chuck Schumer. Suddenly, they're now going to bring out their Trumpian, their imitation Trump economic plan. Listen to this.
When you lose an election with someone who has, say, 40% popularity, you look in the mirror and say, what did we do wrong? And the number one thing that we did wrong is we didn't tell people what we stood for. Even today, as your poll showed, they know we're standing up to Trump. They like that. But they want to know, what do you stand for? So tomorrow, Democrats will unveil our economic agenda. It's called a better deal. It has three components. We're going to raise people's wages and create better paying jobs. We're going to cut down on their everyday expenses they have to pay, and we're going to give them the tools they need to compete in the 21st century. So simply put, what do Democrats stand for? A better deal for working families, higher wages, less costs, tools for the 21st century.
You had president, though, for 8 years. You had control of Congress for part of that time. What took so long, and why didn't it happen during the campaign?
Well, I don't know why it didn't happen in the campaign. We all take blame, not any one person. But now we have spent a lot of time working on this, and it's going to really impress the American people.
Yeah, he dodged Stephanopoulos' question. Stephanopoulos blew the question. But the question is, you had 8 years. Where were you on all these working class things? When you were telling us who should be using the bathrooms in our elementary schools, where were you? When you were doing this, putting this anchor of Obamacare on our economy, where were you while you were blowing up the Middle East? Where were you for the working class people? This is like imitation Trumpism. As you know, the Democrats only have one policy forever for everything, which is steal people's money from people who are productive and give it to people who aren't productive, and that's what they're going to do. When he says, "Oh, we're going to create jobs," government doesn't create jobs. The only jobs government creates are government jobs, which actually make fewer jobs because everything that the government does is a weight on businesses.